So Yuzong, they removed the Isonjin too. So TLPH, they get two choices here. Either they ban
Oke
1-1
guys, kita
or they
masuk
ban
di
the
game
Lancelot
ketiga
of
guys
Aurora.
ya.
I think they're
Aurora
expecting to get the Lancelot for themselves.
Mapnya
But even
dangerous
then,
grass.
there's a lot of trades for TLPH.
Yuzong di
Cartes, you
ban,
can just
Yusin,
take up the Hayabusa again on red 3. Maybe they even first pick Granger and Granger Gadot for two picks.
Just to take away the momentum here for Dominica, although it's already been broken for game 2, because for first and second game, so far it's still a Granger value here for Aurora. So just not to make it too obvious that you're like nurturing too much or you're protecting Dominica so much, and now for TLPH, it's up to them to try and get the deny, or Aurora gets a hero as early as an Arlet here for Edward.
They were trying to trap TLPH into thinking that they're gonna get the Lancelot. So yeah, first pick Granger, because they don't want Granger going over to the side of TLPH. But this does favor TLPH because we just came from a game where both Yushin Shin and the Lancelot was off the table. So now TLPH, they get to pick whether they take the Fredrin or they take the Hayabusa. I think the Hayabusa is the safer route because I don't think you go Fred Arlet here because there's still the Phobius on the side of Aurora.
I do agree with you with the Hayabusa pick, considering that this is a Ranger, and just give the Fredrin to Demon Kite if you're TLPH, but if you're Aurora, might as well just don't pick the Hayabusa. We don't go for Demon Kite. And a hero for Sanford, I believe.
Haya, Alice?
Ada Haya, ada Lunox.
Midnight.
I think the idea is you can't go Uranus, you can't even go Alice. So
Ya mungkin mereka bakalan Fredrin lagi kali, tebak sial ya.
So I think for Edward, you go Lapo or Arlet, but the problem is you set up such good heroes for Sanford that he gets to decide whether he wants Alice or Phobius on red 3.
TLPH being consistent onto attacking Mr. Consistent here for Aurora.
Such a good draft, honestly.
You cannot just ban out heroes here for Sanford if you're Aurora. You have to consider it with this first pick.
Oh, Fredrin
lagi.
lagi guys. Apakah akan terulang lagi guys? Gatot kaca lagi.
He gets to pick Alice again for Sanford. He might go Lapu, honestly. But there's no downside in taking the Alice now because it's still the same thing. Like you get Alice now, you remove some of the counters, and then Aurora's left with nothing. So you go Alice
lagi
and now
guys.
they remove Lapu, there's no Yuzong anymore. So just
Mungkin tadi karena ada Jusinnya kali ya.
Sanford is like, okay, don't mind if I do.
Tapi yang ini kan ada Lunox.
Arlet Edward making miracle plays with the final vengeance. Actually, the vengeance is
masih bisa lagi dibanding Yusin guys.
The crop here for Aurora, and now there are certain heroes like
Yusin
the
tadi kayak
still viable, but in my opinion,
Fredrinnya
they could just go
nggak
for the last
ini
pick
guys,
here for
sulit.
Edward, and look at what the red 4 will be for TLPH.
Yeah, they have to sniff it out. But for Aurora, I think Kimmy still works there. Kimmy, Barca.
Arot again.
I don't see any other heroes for Edward though. Cho being removed, I think just to limit the flex factor on the gold. Oh,
okay, nice.
Oh, Cho guys. Cho again.
That guy hasn't lost in Sicilian by the way.
Sicilian.
That is a nice see-through here for Coach RC, and you're right. Being at win streak here.
Wait. I wanna see OF Gold Lane Lapo.
Tumben sekali guys ya. Sicilian Legion guys.
And one of his life streams right away. And I think that's the reason why they removed the Arlet and they didn't care about the Lapo because they wanted to pick it gold.
Will they take that as a challenge? Will they grab that opportunity?
But what do you counter it with? You can't go Esme, you can't go Uranus. There's a Lunox on TLPH.
Different scenarios running through our minds right now. But even for Aurora, different heroes that are running on their minds to ban out. Still the Khalid removed here for game number 3.
Alright, I wanna see it. Oh, give me Lapo. Give me Lapo. No!
Oh, GG guys.
It wins both matchups.
Okay, it's the best of both worlds for the CC. Deny, priority, and
GG
then
Godline.
somewhat of a flex tail here for TLPH.
Because the thing is,
Kenapa
Aurora, if they want to get Lapo here,
orang ngambil
I
TC
think
guys ya?
CC on XP here is honestly Uranus or Esme.
But still,
They didn't go up.
you're going to have a hard time, but it's the reality. You have to face it, right?
You kind of have to like address the elephant in the room. You're gonna mount to the knock, but the thing about TL's lineup is that they don't have a hard lockdown. So that's like, the benefit of having the Esme and or the Uranus. They're forced to
Wow,
get a
lapu-lapu
hard
gitu.
lockdown, but they go for the lapu. I still don't like the Eve though. Yeah, sure, it's up against the CC and the Alice, but this upcoming last pick from TLPH might just ruin everything for Aurora. Because honestly, a Hydas is still good here.
Considering it's also the dangerous grass for an Eve, it's also one of the heroes that I find and having a hard time when it comes to multiple ganks because for an Eve,
Guys,
all you have is the flicker, then the ultimate for the slide shield, but after that you're so vulnerable to the attacks. But they've gauged the
apakah akan
situation
Baxia?
tonight and maybe they found
Hylas,
more pros
Hylas
here
lah.
for Aurora and then the Hylas for
Oh,
Danny
di
JB.
sini Baxia kayak
Who
nggak
played
berharga
CC
gitu guys
here
ya.
for OM?
It's such a good draft from both sides, honestly, even though I don't like the idea of the Eve. The thing is, you win on the Eve, so he's gonna
Di
make this work.
MPL
But
Indo
this draft
tuh
from TLPH just allows Carl DZ to go
berharga sekali
wild,
guys
honestly.
Kumar.
And then looking at their index as well,
Yeah, it's all TL.
it's all about TLPH. Yes, you have card controls for Aurora,
Yeah.
but some of this might be somewhat of an disadvantage.
Kita di
Yeah,
game
it looks
ketiga
like the
guys.
same game as game number 2, but TL has way scarier team fights in game number 3.
Same, but different scenarios here for TLPH and Aurora. Okay, loaded for our draft. Let's head on over for our game number 3. Who will get another point? Casters, it's your time.
You know what? I agree with Midnight and Athena. In addition to the draft, the way Liquid played in Game 2 definitely dictates the pace. They have the momentum going into Game number 3.
And I also have to say that I'm really feeling how much Coach RC wants to get his revenge back. He's been so commendable in terms of drafting for how many games in a row now. It was a bit surprising to see the Lunos immediately come in, but for the past few games, it's been such a high priority. But for Sanji to go this route, I'm hoping this is still signature aggressive Sanji, but that's a bit more balanced compared to game number 2.
I think it's signature aggressive everything for Liquid. Looking at the early game start, Aurora posting up towards that Little Wanderer, stopping a majority of Liquid from crossing over. Even this XP Crab coin will be contested very hardly. And JP coming in, looking for a sneaky pull. Can confirm, ladies and gentlemen, it is an undefeated Lunox in the hands of the chef Lone Stallion Sanji.
Yep, but it seems like they're really trying to make things a bit harder for Sanji. Yue on
Nah
the team
cicil guys Lunok ini.
clearly has the range advantage. And they're probably going to stay like this for a while.
That's right. More on Aurora's draft before any more action breaks out. It's a very M4 looking draft. Like, look at it. Look at it. These heroes are old school.
Yeah. Just now we had this, or I was asking you about, what was Sansan looking like again back in F4? Because now Sanford, it seems like the heroes are becoming a bit similar to that, but Sanji's been sticking with a very particular hero pool. He's been using less, I think, even compared to last season. So there are just certain options on board for Sanji.
Yeah, if you ask me if this version of Liquid looks close to how they look when they won in Jakarta in M4 a few years back, it's very different now. They've definitely grown. Turtle already very low.
Turtle guys. Aduh udah Fredin cok.
But it's still not enough for Carl to steal away the objective.
Oh,
Now
Sanfordnya mati.
go down.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Aurora learned. Not like that, 40, not again. He spent everything. The flicker, the throne of ruin, did not work this time against Aurora. Not so fast, RWM!
And the AOG to try and
Ooh.
provide a bit more pressure. JP could not get out of that. So Aurora have been using so much, but
What? Aduh guys.
It's not gonna be enough. Vengeance committed too, but Dominic survives.
That is elementary MLBB. When a vengeance is popped, you just stop.
Stop.
Hands off.
Move away.
No means no.
Don't attack.
Don't do
Sanji.
it.
Oh, Sanjinya mati
Okay.
lah.
synchronized streaks.
Yes, he is not having a good time.
Next level synergy. Across the map, they're not done!
Sandboard, Gleam gets to keep him safe, but Carl cannot farm in peace. Demon Kite's in his jungle. He even might steal away this orange buff. Look at how Light's blocking everyone else. JP and Sandboard trying to help him, but can he take it this time? He doesn't have the retribution.
So does
But
Carl.
they push Demon Kite away.
That was a close call. If Demon Kite stayed there maybe for 2 or 3 more seconds, that retribution would have come off cooldown and Aurora would have committed grand theft orange. Demon Kite the main culprit and the rest of them accessories of the crime. Looking at the rest of the map, the bottom lane I think is the closest thing you could say as a neutral lane for Liquid because everywhere else Aurora's winning.
Yeah, I'm liking how Aurora are starting to put in so much respect to this Hayabusa of Carl Tizzy. Because even in the previous game, it's like this Hayabusa single-handedly tried to hold down the early game for that very farm-heavy lineup that he tried to go for.
Oh my god, the flicker to save him!
Oh, wow, Ranger guys.
Is it gonna be enough?
Hey, OG!
Everything's there, but Domingkite under the turret will not fall.
Bring it up.
Duh,
That's still a
guys.
good chunk of damage reduction. They changed a lot of things in Project Next, but not the gold lane
Tiga.
turret shield damage reduction.
Nggak ada
Turtle now at
kontes,
5th of his
guys.
health. I think Aurora can easily secure.
Even when Light had to respond to what was happening down bottom, Edward and Demon Kite were more than enough to take this objective freely from Liquid. But there's another concealed play. Does Oheb sense that there's something going on?
Yep, he does. He had Daddy JP to check for him. Yue already made himself known, and then Light just flushed out those bushes. Aurora up by 3,000 gold, under 5 minutes. This is a great start for Aurora. What happened in game 2, I think, woke up a beast in him.
I agree. Now they're using this utility jungler, this Redrin, so aggressively. And just as I mentioned that, he's walking back towards Liquid's jungle.
Yep. That's something you can't do as an assassin.
That is... Oh, thought Sanji was going to use the brilliance there.
Hold up. 2-lane push, top and bottom. The cavalry
Turretnya hancur
a
ya.
little cross-eyed, like they didn't know where to defend.
Dua turret hancur guys.
Is this the effect of just how
Apakah
good
mereka
the
akan
pressure
menghancurkan
is
midnya,
from
guys?
Aurora? That their jungler doesn't feel as free and that they
Itu
are a
jadi
bit more
Radiant,
pressured to
Fredrin.
provide some assistance to Carl Tizzy.
I think, yeah, the answer is simply yes, because Liquid, look at this, they are a team fighting lineup more now than ever.
Fredrin nggak
The other
main
game
di
they had a
cooldown.
lost call, so they could have split the map, but now they just really want to convert. They really want to win
Mereka
big
nyicil
and then take
midnya
turrets.
guys.
Without winning big, they can't take turrets.
No, Carl!
Oh, mahal.
Energy
Mahal
eruption.
sekali.
The taunts from Demon Kite. Now they gain access to the purple buff. Embracer's Wrath is touched,
Purple ya,
but
guys.
not the real world manipulation.
Aduh,
JP gets
oh, ya.
stuck inside, but Oheb's just trying to do what he can. But they inevitably have to let go of that purple buff.
They stole away Carl Tizzy's buff, and they go straight for the turtle. Demon Kite closing off the entry to anything from Liquid. No contest, even for this turret in mid.
Yeah, they really want to take it this time. This is the fastest we've seen both of these teams actually get objectives away for this entire series. Another turtle might go to that.
Wow, dapat guys. Dapat Hayabusanya guys.
Easy just pops in, steals it away, but do they want to fight? Throne of Ruin committed. Light will not pursue.
Bring it up, they did not respect the fact that Carl's retribution was off of cooldown and Demon Kite's was
beda dua
not.
loh padahal
And I think
tadi.
it was correct for Aurora to do that, but they needed to clear the jungle first. They needed to make sure that there was no attempt. And Liquid, they rolled the dice, they flipped the coin. They dropped everything to be able to secure it. Now they're looking to punish. 5 gold, 5,000 gold still in the middle of them.
Oh, they're going for Sanford.
Sanford
Oheb
mati.
will not show himself anymore. He cannot afford to show himself. Aurora making quick work of all the remaining turrets. Sanji goes in, but all that just to prevent any more damage.
See, this is Aurora just cracking that whip, reminding TLP that, hey, you're still down this much gold, all right? 5,000, 6,000. Just the gold laners alone, 2,000 between them.
Aduh,
That's
babnya
what Aurora
dimusuh
needed
lagi,
to do.
cowok.
They needed to make sure that this lead would be all that mattered. And the fact that they did not check that little avenue, that little entry from Liquid side of the jungle to that turtle pit meant all the difference. So, you know, it's a final turtle. A little bit of mojo boost for the rest of the cavalry, all the fans here in Cuneta watching the blue side of the arena. Well, technically
Apakah
red.
mereka akan comeback lagi, guys?
Let's look at how Liquid can clap back, all right? Number one, stealing objectives. It's clear that Carl DZ has it in him. He got that nose to steal stuff, but are we waiting for Sanji to come online? Because OM, sure, is a gold laner, but he's a fighter gold laner. Is Sanji going to be the next in line to be that, clean source of damage?
I guess if it's Sanji we're talking about, he just needs to watch out for Demon Kite. Like, if he
Nah ya,
does
bisa
go
belum
in,
beli sepatu, guys.
or maybe not just even Demon Kite, the real
Oh,
world's
lebaran
there,
aja
the
nanti, guys.
unbreakable's there.
Sepatu
So
baru, coba.
positioning, as you would say to any Lunox user, is very, very crucial. They cannot
Dirusuh lagi
make
bom
themselves
merahnya,
vulnerable to
guys.
Aurora, because that's going to be one of their main strengths. It's just blocking every single member who wants to dive in.
That's why the lone stallion is keeping himself scared. Look at where he's positioning himself. Very far away, hidden from Aurora. They'll never know where this Lunox bomb might come from. That Sanji DD. Turtle at half health.
Because holding this for two.
Lord, brother. Here we go.
Oh, now Sanji goes for Yue, but the damage doesn't seem to be enough. Edward jumps in with a Raven Spider as a response, but Light is holding Carl TZ down.
Tuh, guys.
Touches the Appraiser's Wrath just barely, and Hoem goes in
Oh.
from behind. But for some reason, Carl is bursted
Oh.
down.
And Oheb goes as well. Where one baby king goes, the other follows. Sanji the only one left. It's a 2v1. UN Edward chasing him down.
Sanji tried. We saw it.
He did. And he was doing the right thing up until the rest of Liquid could not hold the line. Again, a huge gold dip. Items just were the main factor. Firepower. And that's why Light was able to push
Ayo,
back
saya
three
nggak jalan,
and delay
Cok.
the inevitable.
I think he even had to use his flicker there just
Susah, guys.
get close enough to Yue, which we might get confirmed in this instant replay. Which again, we will keep saying, oh, he didn't use that flicker. So it was just in this moment where he used it
Yep.
to find the right target.
The
But
final reposition.
oh, he got the takedown wrong, but the damage, even when I think that.
Uh-oh.
Okay, maybe we talk about that later on. Demon Kite takes the Lord.
Oh.
Edward holding down 2 AOG from Light. But will this be enough?
Aduh.
Already committed. Carl TZ's the first to fall.
Not like
Mati
this, says
lagi.
Aurora. Not again.
Mati lagi.
As Domikai takes down 40 after
Mati
taking Edward.
lagi.
It's a
Wipe
wipe
out.
up ending.
Vengeance committed,
Wipe
but does that keep him
out.
alive? It's a no! A wipeout by Aurora!
The blinding lights stumble into the Stallions, and the Stampede is quelled. A Lord and 5 kills over to Aurora.
Now they will definitely be clearing the outer turrets, possibly even the top lane turret, base turret of Team Liquid. And that's exactly where the Lord is approaching, but there are no holy shields left.
Even bottom lane still standing. About 40 seconds left for that to make it work.
Masih bisa, ya. Masih lo pertama masih
They know
bisa.
that the
Ya.
score won't stand for too long. Liquid are in the danger zone. They are in self-preservation mode right now.
I just gotta say, I can't recall the last time Carl TZ got his hands on his purple buff. And that's probably making things a lot more harder for Liquid at this point. Sanji just trying to defend this mid lane.
Tersisa
base
2
turret,
turret.
but they're struggling to do just that.
Liquid, again, the way that they've been so successful all throughout the later half of season 16, even in the
Apakah
playoffs,
mereka akan comeback lagi, guys?
fighting in the paint. They like to really give it to their opponents and then, with conviction, dominate them. They convert.
Ini
They
TLID
don't
baru,
steal. They don't
TLPH
try and
baru
go through technicalities and
mengambil
they
satu
convert.
turret, guys.
And they just haven't been able to. Again, one thing you mentioned is the purple buff. Honestly, if Carl DZ can't get his purple buff, that means he can't get to the rest of his jungle. That means he is so down on resources.
And what's scary is that even if he tries to just look for pickoffs and potentially trades across the map, Yue and Dominkite, I believe, have winter crowns. So even when there's a chance of a potential pickoff, that's just not gonna turn out good for Liquid.
Nothing. Shadow kills, forget about it. Brilliance into a Darkness Blast, forget about it. Hell, they've already learned Sanford's propensity for an ankle breaker Throne of Ruin. It worked in game 2. They were able to steal a game from out of nowhere, stampede through Aurora in an 18-minute bout, but not this
Tuh diambilin
time.
terus guys
Aurora
spotnya
are
guys.
choking Liquid out of these
Gimana
major
ini guys?
resources that they so badly need.
That was such a quick adjustment from Aurora. Just after that
Kacau,
game,
kacau.
they're no longer caught by surprise, by any Throne of Ruin, by any Shadow Kill, not even Quad Shadows. They're able to time their reactions perfectly.
And I actually take it back. I stand corrected. It's not because of the lack of purifying. Liquid just went too hard and too fast. Aurora can actually play this way. Flicker their way out of that Throne of Ruin. Lord Dawns began. Light with a conceal. Who's he looking for?
Carl Easy seems to be the target. Unbreakable land on him. Edward is there, but he does not use the Brazen Fighter just yet.
Look at Sanji and
This
Sanford.
is already enough to provide some zoning. Sanford decides to go in too, though, but Light can just AOG out of there. But he spots Sanji.
Edward commits the bravest fighter. Lord of the Eighth with hell.
Oh, now they're after Atomic. Knight
Oh,
forces
dia
out the
beku
Winter
guys.
Crown for the Throne of Ruin again, landing onto multiple
Oh
members.
nice, dapat Hayabusa guys.
Gets the objective for Liquid and they're fighting back.
Apakah mereka akan comeback guys?
And that is Sanford gleaming
Wah,
on out.
apakah?
Doesn't get to
Aduh.
escape, and Sanji, he's trying to look for
Oh,
more.
Brilliant
whoa, 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 whoa.
Atomic Kite, and it's just Edward and ULF. They take out JP. The GOAT stands alone.
Aduh, itu lagi
He
selain
can
guys.
clear the
Beresin dulu cok,
waves.
selain cok.
But Yue and Edward, what could the plan
Aduh,
be?
aduh,
The
aduh, aduh,
Lord
aduh, aduh, aduh,
is
aduh, aduh, aduh,
spawning
aduh, aduh.
right now, and they might not get to push any further. Carl still taking him
Up,
on.
up, 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 up,
Edward's
up.
all alone, receives majority of the Yogi Shadow kill, but he's so tanky.
All right, Edward here is doing his best to distract Liquid from taking that purple, and it's already too late. Yue yeeted away the purple buff once again from Carl Teasy. Let's check out that instant replay, that moment, that play that led to this very moment. Again, I could have sworn that Sanford and Sanji, the way they're positioning themselves, and we thought they learned their lesson. We thought Sanford was all out of tricks, but no, he still found a way.
It was perfect because they knew that Doming did not have the Winter Crown anymore. And I couldn't even recall when Yue used his, or did he just choose not to? Oh, that's the moment he used his.
There it is.
So that's why he survived. But even Sanji, those last minute decisions of still trying to fight, even when it was that dangerous, they probably had it all calculated either way.
So for a majority of this 15-minute game, Aurora have been getting away from the Throne of Ruin flicker, replace instant transmission combo from Sanford, shoot through sheer mechanics. But the Apex Predator evolves, adapts on
Kita
the fly,
lihat
and finds a way to
satu
make it
lagi
work
guys,
again.
Hayabusanya.
They cut that lead in half.
Fredernya
Aurora now just
juga,
up by barely
Fredernya 2
5,000
item
gold.
lagi
So
cok.
that means the firepower on Sanji and even Carl are catching up.
Yeah, he might actually go for
Kebanyakan
the
goldnya
Winston right now. Maybe
Hayabusa
Holy
guys.
Crystal next too.
He has room
Dia
for
mau
2 more
jadiin
items.
endless
So
battle
that's
lah.
gonna be a Holy Crystal and what? One could assume Lightning Truncheon or people don't do that anymore. The
Tapi dia
Lantern
gak pakai Sky ya
for
guys,
extra damage.
Hayabusanya guys.
And it's not going to be a great time for all those who keep standing in front of Team Liquid, of Light or Edward. They're just always the guys tanking the damage.
Satu
But
item
it's
lagi
not like
Frederin.
Sanji takes them head on because he's always looking for different targets.
Yep, Sanji has been very patient
Dia
with
mau
his
ngambil
approach.
purple guys.
But even if that's
Bab
the
biru,
case
bab
for
biru,
him,
bab biru.
once he gets all those items locked in,
Gak
it
dapat
may be a
guys.
bit
Dapat
different.
gak sih guys?
Carl,
Oh,
I think he
wow.
finally got
Yes!
purple buff.
Without using
Dapat
his
siapa cok?
retribution, if I'm not mistaken, Demon Kite used his. He
Dapat,
did!
dapat Frederin cok.
No harm, no foul, right? We know that they're gonna dance in the next minute or so, but that's a clear sign again for those of y'all who are superstitious, who have a
Oh ini
certain
pasti
set
menguntungin sih guys. Nice,
much
nice,
like
nice, nice.
Team
Lari
Liquid,
guys.
you know that Liquid have a set of around
Aduh
beliefs that if
7
they do
detik
this, they
aja,
will win.
6 detik.
If
Enggak
Carl
guys.
gets his purple, then maybe this changes things.
Especially as we're looking at
Retrinya tadi
objective fight that started right now. Demon Kite's
gak
holding it so
ada,
far.
ini ada lagi.
No, that might have been an animation bug. I think Demon Kite did secure. Look, it's gone. Or,
Yeah. So it wasn't.
He did it. He did it. The retribution was worth it for Demon Guy now. The dance fully breaking on out. That's a fourth of the health left on the Lord.
Oh, now it's a bit
Hati-hati,
different.
guys.
Light going in. Sanji
Ada
already
shadow,
forcing
guys.
use this chaos. But Demon Kite, while those were
Dapat
happening,
Raiden,
he
guys,
just
Lordnya.
took the objective for Aurora. JP, can he get out of this? Ohem still not going in. Now he does.
Oh.
But look at the real world
Oh.
manipulation, stopping them in their tracks.
When it comes to honesty,
Aduh,
no one can
guys.
be Aurora in a fight like this.
Sanford going in, but JP, he had to receive the damage from the Appraiser's Wrath. Sanji goes in as well, but this does not look like it's gonna be good for Liquid.
It's gone sideways.
Oh, but he still
Sanji
survives.
still takes out Demon Guy. Oh, him holding on. Down goes Sanji. Oh, the only one left.
And now there goes another wipeout with no one left to defend.
GG sih, coy.
Aurora will
Tapi
take
cuman
match points.
One
seandainya
game away
TLPH nih
from the
lebih
grand
bermain ke early
finals.
game ya.
One game away from that slot at M7. Aurora 2-1.
Every single
Mungkin
player just
Hayabusanya
keeps
nggak
adapting.
sekala itu.
Just keeps learning. I don't know what to expect in the next few games anymore, if any.
Honestly, the writing was on the wall. Aurora was just waiting for that one window. Let's go to Midnight in Athena.
The match keep getting more exciting as the game goes by. A match point for Aurora.
One game from the grand finals and one game from Jakarta for M7. Amazing stuff coming out from the Northern Lights. That Lordance though, that last part, I thought it was gonna be TLPH like going to late game. They will have damage.
They do.
But this is the dance. It was the dance from Aurora that allowed these guys and Yue as well from the Eve, that real world manipulation that locked this game down
MVP-nya
for
Eve,
Aurora,
ya.
shutting down Sanford, shutting down Carl TZ. Even though it's a small team fight, it's a big win for Aurora.
Bow down to Yue. What an amazing performance. Plus, they were able to polish off their mistakes from game number 2, which in fact for game number 3, very consistent, and as well as Demon Kite able to outmaneuver, deny buffs from Carl TZ himself.
Yeah, I mean, even though TLPH looked like they would have answers in the late game, the positioning from these RWMs or real world manipulations from UA were immaculate. And also, just the overall early game presence coming out from the Eve with the supplement of having Frederick on the front line, they were able to sort of scare Liquid away from these resources that Demon Kite was just taking. But again, we reached a point where TLPH had the right tools. They had the right initiations. Carl TZ finally had damage, but it's the real world manipulations. We said this during the draft. I personally didn't like the Eve because of what it brings to the table, but Yue made it work. He was able to find angles, was able to find these pokes, even though they were losing some turtle seconds on TLPH. He was the constant force. This Eve was not playing too aggressive, like beyond the limit. He was pushing the edge of what the Eve could do, and these little edges from the RWMs are what disrupted the team fight from TLPH.
I mentioned that the Eve is one of those heroes that has a hard time when it comes to dangerous grass, but Yue took that to his advantage. He found a perfect angle for him to be untouchable, unseeable here, and all throughout, even ensuring a double kill, maybe a triple kill here. And for TLPH, they just weren't ready for that yet. And looking closer, Midnight, we've mentioned that there was kind of a question mark here for the E for Yue, but all in all, it came hand-to-hand here onto the comeback of Edward as well. Finding the spots where Sanji was accompanying, trying to get pickups, specifically in this instance.
Yeah.
We thought that it was over. TLPH managed to get a comeback, but no, that wasn't the end of the story yet.
Yeah, again, we just reached a point where TL, they got the items that they wanted. They're able to win a team fight where they're not supposed to yet. And there's Throne of Ruin from Sanford, by the way. Very misplaced from the Atlas. He was not able to cross the walls over the Lord Pit up until the bush. And Aurora was able to capitalize on that mistake on the positioning. And speaking about positioning, look at Yue. Maximum spacing from the Eve. Didn't even die. in this game, and that's why he deserves this MVP commanding performance coming off from the mid lane. And Aurora, even though they were feeling the pressure of the late game aspect of TLPH, they played that Lord beautifully. Light providing himself as the sacrificial lamb, he suicided, literally dashed into the
2-1
bush,
guys.
and the
Oke
liquid was
guys,
holding
sampai ketemu di
Aurora.
game
Even
selanjutnya
after
guys
that, they
ya.
got the Lord. They
Kita
tried
lihat
to
dulu
fend off
item-itemnya ya,
this
sama
Hayabusa, and they
buru-buru
got
guys.
the punish that they were looking for.
Even after all the damages that he was able to tank, he didn't even die.
Yeah.
And for me, that spelled GG for TL Page. The moment that they used up all their resources just to stake down this roamer from Rora, and then they didn't manage to do that single thing, that was doom. That was DOOM for TLPH.
Yeah.
Then moving forward here for the Hayabusa for Carl TC, we mentioned that, yeah, this is one of his most successful heroes this season. And with Demon Guide, there was a bit of a question mark with his Fredrin after game number 2. But still, for this game, he did a spectacular job. What we were missing was a utility jungler more proactive onto jungling, plus enabling him to get
Oke guys,
very good
sampai ketemu guys
damage
di
point
game
for his
selanjutnya
taunts.
guys.
Yeah, I mean, so many aspects from Aurora. You also have to commend Doming's, stability.